right, good morning, everyone. The April 2024 quarterly meeting of the Friends of the Fall Line. We've got some great updates about the development of the Fall Line and some of the work going into raising awareness and developing community connections for this transformational trail. We've gotten some new funding for the Fall Line. The Central Virginia Transportation Authority contributed $12 million to the Fall Line in its last regional pot back in February, which brings us to our a total of $264 million. Now, the Richmond City Council just approved $3 million for a section in Bryant Park, but I think that was money that had previously been allocated, so I don't think that's new money. But we're up to a whopping total of $264 million for this project, which is just so exciting to see as we're about to basically launch into our construction phase this year. And it's worth noting that our region has been working hard to put together new grant applications to continue to fund the trail. Just in the past month, have the city of Richmond put in a $40 million raise grant application, and our region is submitting $200 million EPA grant, community program grant, that would be very transformational for what we can accomplish in terms of constructing the Fall Line through some of our more complicated sections. And in the proposed budget of Richmond's capital improvement program, there are $6 million in this upcoming fiscal year, with another 52 over the next 5 years. Looking forward to the passage of that budget and our localities being able to implement some new construction phases. I do have a slide where I will let some of our local partners tune in and give an update on funding and development, but here's sort of an overview of where we are. It's largely unchanged from where we were back in January, but things will start to move much more rapidly soon. There is construction ongoing at the Spring Park or Park Street section of the Fall Line in Lakeside, just right at the county city line of Henrico and the city of Richmond. I have a photo of that in a future slide. We are anticipating the groundbreaking for the Hanover section, affectionately known as Design Build 1, this month. We're finally here. This project has been existed on paper for something like 3 or 4 years now, and we're really looking forward to actually getting a major section under construction. And we look forward to VDOT giving you an update about that in just a few minutes. Design Build 2, which is the southern main section from Petersburg, the southern terminus, to Route 10 in Chester, is in process, and I look forward to Scott giving you some updates about the alignment changes, and I think we're at a state where we're moving forward. And then there's development in Bryant Park, administered sort of uniquely in our alignment by Richmond Parks. So that we have a new player at the table, and looking forward to multiple construction phases ongoing in the next 12 months. A quick legislative update before we get into some of the report backs. We've concluded this year's General Assembly session. It was exciting to see we had 2 Richmond area members, Delegate Coiner from Chesterfield and Senator Van Valkenburg from Henrico, put in $20 million budget amendment requests to fund the Fall Line for $20 million. They were not new money requests. They would have allocated existing money in the state trails budget to the Fall Line at this date, or to this date. The Fall Line has not received any of the funding from that pot that was created 2 years ago, and we certainly think that the Fall Line is more than qualified to receive that funding, so we will continue to do that work. And we were very excited to see the delegate and the senator put forth that effort, and to see our region come together to support that effort. There was another budget amendment that would have moved the State Trails Office from VDOT to the Department of Conservation and Recreation, and that ultimately did not succeed. From our standpoint, these trails are built for transportation and require a lot of specific transportation focus in terms of getting the funding and accessing right-of-way, being built to transportation regulated standards. So we're happy to see that that stayed where it was in VDOT. That was a very intentional choice a couple of years ago, and it is still in VDOT. But that opened up a lot of conversations with the General Assembly and with VDOT about the cost of trails, and just there's you're seeing some increases that are above inflation. You're seeing some costs increase based on what could be design standards instead of just the material and other kind of cost increases that we're seeing. And so VDOT is looking at investigating how they can reduce trail costs in not any number of ways. And we've connected them with Chuck Flink, who's literally written the book on greenway development. We actually bought 60 of those books and have given out a lot of them. He's a professor at NC State University and was very involved with the Razorback Greenway in Arkansas. So we look forward to helping to not just raise funds with our regional and local partners, but also to address the cost side as much as we can. This is a super exciting photo. This is going to be Sportsbacker's new office at the Park Street section of the Fall Line. This used to be a Bank of America building. We've had just an amazing time working with Henrico County, who bought this building last year, and they're helping us to prepare the site so that we can have essentially a welcoming role at a major trailhead along the Fall Line that bridges the city of Richmond and Henrico County. The trail you can see is under development in this photo, and will run in front of the building, and then turn from this vantage to the left or to the east as it proceeds towards Lakeside Community Park, and as a part of the lakeside phases of Henrico's Fall Line development. We are currently raising money to renovate the building. We're approximately halfway there, and our internal goal is to be in the building by the end of the year. Did I miss anything, John?
No, that's all right, Brantley. Yeah, we've been out getting money raised, and with the trail running right through the ATM lane, and then we're building a fitness room / meeting room under the other drive-through lanes. So, and then all the asphalt on that side will basically be replaced with trailhead amenities and features by Henrico County. So it's a awesome partnership, and it's going to transform this corner and hopefully be the center of all things Fall Line.
Yeah, and we get asked about bathrooms a lot, and when 2-3 years ago, people would have questions about, well, what kind of bathrooms are going to be installed, and where will they be, and where will the trailheads be, and what kind of benches should we buy, and what should trailheads look like? And that ultimately led us to wanting to develop the Fall Line Vision Plan, because we wanted to have at least some kind of central guiding document so that our locality partners would have some sense of what kind of consistent look and feel there could be, and some systematic planning about where people would access the trail and whatnot. And now we're starting to see some of that being developed, and Henrico is sort of where the bulkhead is on the left here, is where Henrico will be building publicly accessed bathrooms for trail users. Really exciting to see that. I can't see if anyone from Henrico County would like to weigh in now or on a future slide about development of this project.
I'm here, Brantley. Todd.
Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. So yeah, we're very excited about the partnership. The site's a mess right now, but Sportsbackers and their architect has done a nice rendering, and actually we're going to be using that at our board meeting next week for the substantial line cord for the trailhead, that kind of helps show what this site ultimately can look like when it's done. So Brantley, I don't know if you have that to share with the group, but that would be nice to put up on the screen if you have it.
I'll probably have to find it separately. I don't have it to hand.
Actually, I can probably drop it in the chat.
Oh, that would be great.
I'll do that.
Yeah, the renderings have been fun to work on. and our architect is having a good time. In Bryant Park, so this is just over Lakeside Boulevard into the city of Richmond. There has been some work by Parks to do a tree retention study, and so these trees are marked. You can see this is the playground section near the soccer fields and the kind of the main T intersection by the main entrance to the park. These trees have been marked to be retained so that when the trail is specifically aligned through the section between the parking lot and the soccer fields, that we can retain as much of these trees as possible. It wasn't clear to the public what this was about, but we've done a lot of community engagement since this photo was released to show that, to demonstrate really that trees are trail amenities, and the shade is going to be very important to trail users, and we look forward to saving, the majority of as many trees as possible. There's another update in Bryant Park that's not specifically related to the fall line, but will impact it. The old dams in the northern part of the park have been deemed to be needed to be replaced, and they're actually not going to be replaced as dams, but instead removed for modern hydrology concerns and regulations. And so one of the main dams is actually the alignment of the fall line exiting the park from the north or to the north. So when those do finally be replaced, they would need to be replaced with some sort of a shared use path bridge. I'm confident that when that is done, the fall line will be it'll be a quality connection for the fall line, but it'll be a big project when that is finally completed, and something to pay attention to. All right, I'm happy to stop sharing my screen and to allow anyone, I don't know if Scott has joined. He just gave a lengthy presentation at the fall line working group. There's lots of development on DB1 and DB2. I don't see Scott on. Oh no. Todd, was that meeting still going when you left?
No, it wrapped up.
Okay, well, I may come back to this in a minute if Scott's able to join. The sort of the main takeaway is that the major progress has happened on Design Build 1, the Hanover section, and Design Build 2, the southern section, and we will have the opportunity to break ground next month in the northern section. There's a lot of excitement, a lot of planning is going into it, and I'll just go back to my presentation for now. Thanks, Phil. I will say that the Plan RVA does a great job of recording and publishing their fall line working group meetings on their YouTube page too, so you can always check those in the future. We like to run this so that we have some duplicate information on the Friends of the Fall Line, but it's not the only place that you can find this information. Does anybody from one of our locality partners or the CVTA want to give any kind of an update about progress in your section?
Apparently, I have a mouthful of peanuts right now. Not a good time.
Okay. All right, sure. Did you say that you wanted to go? There we go. Perfect.
Sorry about that. You caught me right as I threw way too many peanuts in my mouth. Sorry. Yes, we just did have our fall line working group for CVTA, which you were just saying, Scott Fisher. He's with VDOT and had a very lengthy presentation on the Design Build 1 section, which is north from Woodman Road up to Ashland, and the design build 2 section, which is basically Petersburg up to Route 10 in Chester. Both of those sections, he had some details on when it would start, but design build 1, we've probably gone over a lot of this, but very recent details that a lot of that is going to be under construction. Most of the sections should be under construction by the end of the year, which is pretty awesome. And then with design build 2, it's more like 25 to start with a lot of those, because they're behind on the process for MOUs and the contractors getting design build everything out to the contractors. So anyway, like Brantley said, we will have that available on the Plan RVA website under the Friends of Fall Line Working Group, but that'll be posted later on today if you want to review and to see some of what Scott Fisher was presenting. I just posted the link to the funding page, and you can track a lot of the funding. We continue to update those pages. That funding is sort of as we captured it at that time. The money does move around in some of these sections, and we are continuing to seek new funding because we still haven't funded the entire trail. And just this past Monday, thanks to sports backers, a lot of our partners, friends of Lower Appomattox, all the regional partners, we did submit a climate CPRG. I always have a problem remembering the exact acronym, what it stands for, but a grant that would help fund the gap that we have for the majority of the Fall Line Trail. If we don't get that one, it was a good practice run for us to hopefully seek something else, raise grant, something else. So, but it's still trying to close a lot of the gaps in the city and basically northern parts of Chesterfield and whatever else. So that's about all I have.
Thanks, Phil. 2 other things that Scott mentioned that I thought were useful. For design build 1, the Hanover section, it does include some of Henrico County and crossing the Chickahominy. How they're going to proceed is starting at Woodman Road and heading north to the Chickahominy, and then they're going to go from the north to the south, and they're going to actually have multiple sections being built at the same time. It is a 5-mile section, but it's interesting to see that it won't be starting in Ashland on day 1. But I think from a section standpoint, it's relatively short and should be able to be completed fairly simply because it's not the most challenging environment. That's one of the reasons why it can be a design build. The second was a conversation about the crossing of Route 10 for design build 2 came up, and they're at least exploring, VDOT is at least exploring the possibility of tunneling under Route 10. It's going to come down to cost, and it's also going to come down to what the design build firm that they end up working with for this, which it hasn't gone out to bid yet, so they don't know who it's going to be, what they're capable of doing. But it's good to see that our conversations that have been going back for a couple of years now and really highlighted in the Fall Line Vision Plan about the importance of that safe crossing in particular, it's being explored. I think the future of the trail should definitely see some kind of improved crossing for that road.
Yeah, the traffic volumes alone on Route 10 would make it a little bit more difficult, but that is a mid-block crossing as they have it planned right now. And it would be much more beneficial to go underneath for safety reasons, and hopefully, I guess, for just the look and feel of the trail and being separate from Route 10. But I'm glad that they're still considering that, because I mean, if there's a difference of a few million, there's a difference of lives being saved, I guess, from that bad spot. I was with you, Brantley, and the others when we were doing our tour along there, and I don't remember being happy standing on the side of the road on Route 10 as we were observing things. So anything we can do to separate would be best.
All right. We released the Fall Line Vision Plan. I think many of you were very active in our 2 charrettes that we had in 2023. It was sort of informally released late 2023, November, December, but we, in working with our partners, and we released a really highly attended webinar hosted by Plan RVA. Chet Parsons from the Central Virginia Transportation Authority covered the administrative and funding elements and what our regional and locality partners have done to help generate all this fundraising that's made this trail possible. And then Andy Clark from Tool Design, who completed the Fall Line Vision Plan for Sportsbackers as consultants, talked about their process and what was in the plan and sort of the unique approach that we took to highlighting the placemaking opportunities for this 43-mile trail corridor. And then we presented sort of what's in the plan. It's available now. We have a few hard copies. We've been giving them in 1s and 2s to our locality partners, but it's available online now. And we talked about it in some detail back in January. So it's exciting that it's out in the public. It got some media attention, and it really is going to be what Sportsbackers uses for the next 12 months and more to really get communities engaged and to see how they can contribute to nobody can pave our own trails, but we can generate art and culture and community involvement with the placemaking and programming aspects of the trail. We just a few weeks ago went to the National Bike Summit, as we do each year, and we were privileged to be joined by Deverna Moore Clark, the Fall Line lead for the city and for the Central Virginia Transportation Authority, to advocate for the funding that we were just about to apply for, the RAISE grant and the EPA grant. So this is Jennifer McClellan, our Congresswoman in the center, and we were also able to meet with the offices of Mark Warner and Tim Kaine, and they were all very interested in what we were applying for. And they didn't make any promises; they never would. But they, the Fall Line is definitely on their radar, and they understand the high potential for it as a transportation corridor through our region. And of course, they have Mark Warner and Tim Kaine have given a $2 million earmark to the Fall Line a few years ago that is being used in the southern portion. So they've already given some funding, and now they have the opportunity to help secure some additional funds for us. And it was a fun day on the Hill. And beyond the lobbying aspect, we have just yesterday, we gave a presentation to the Urban Land Institute on the Fall Line and all of its fundraising and zoning and development implications. Urban Land Institute is a nonprofit, largely educational group for the private sector of development and construction. So there's planners and landscape architects, designers and developers, so construction crews that we were able to describe sort of the future of our region and how placemaking, trail-oriented development, quality of life are going to be essential to our region and also essential to the impact that the Fall Line can have. And frankly, these are going to be the people who build this stuff. I mean, there are design build firm groups in this cohort. And I even know that one of the people has been a part of one of the firms that has applied for some of the Fall Line construction. So it was an exciting group, and we were joined by Miles Bushing from Plan RVA to talk about the transportation funding aspect, and Richard Saunders from Chesterfield County Zoning Office to talk about how zoning can be updated, how it can be designed to encourage trail-oriented development to really achieve goals like economic development and placemaking. And I don't have a photo of it because in the bottom left where we were at Plan RVA, they have been such great hosts to the 11th annual Bike Walk RVA Academy. We've been meeting there every Tuesday since the beginning of March. With this cohort, we will have graduated 220 adult citizen advocates to be effective bike ped advocates. And it's been very dreamy to have this great boardroom to have our to host our academy. And they've really dedicated a lot of staff time to be supportive of us there on Tuesday nights, and just really appreciate all the time and effort that they've given to what we think is our flagship program at Bike Walk RVA in terms of generating an authentic and effective advocacy movement. Got some get out your pens. We have some exciting dates to announce, and want to make sure that you are available and can attend. The most exciting is I've been working with Aaron Reed Miller in Hanover County and Emmy Richards in Ashland in particular, and as well as VDOT and some other stakeholders to announce the groundbreaking for Design Build 1, the Hanover section we were just mentioning. It will be April 23rd, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. At the southern end of the existing Ashland trolley line. So if you walk the boardwalk now south, and it's currently paved in concrete and has a railing, and then it turns into a dirt trail, that's where the fall line is going to pick up, and that will be the site of the event. I'll make sure that all of the Friends of the Fall Line members get a calendar invite, so you'll see that in your inbox. But it's an exciting opportunity for our region to celebrate. We're trying to get the governor to come. We anticipate having some great dignitaries from our region to celebrate it, get their photos, and have some golden shovels out there. Should be a great time, and should be, for me anyways, it's going to feel like something of a release. Like we're finally here, and we finally have one of our big phases under construction, and what we hope to be a year of a lot of trail development for the fall line. At Sportsbackers, we are announcing our first quarterly service event for the fall line. So this is an idea that came out of the fall line vision plan. We have a lot of communities to engage, and we have a lot of partners that we can assist with both raising awareness and enthusiasm for the fall line, but partnering on efforts that they're already doing in their communities. Our first event will be partnering with Groundwork RVA in the Bellmead community in South Richmond. And they have a community bike shop in a park next to an elementary school and a community center that is very close to the alignment for the fall line, and they're excited about the connections to or active transportation connections to the river and beyond. And we will be working with them to maintain their park and potentially do some plantings as well, working with Richmond Parks Department as well to work through some of those logistical details. But we're going to call this quarterly service program the Green Streets Team. I just ordered a bunch of green vests for us to have a little uniform. And we look forward to engaging partners along the entire 43-mile corridor, every quarter, to really bring the fall line into the sense of their place and to look for opportunities for partnership. In July, for our next event, it's tentative. It's still have some things to be ironed out, but we're looking to do a cleanup around Virginia Union University, and then we're hoping that by October there may be some service opportunity in Hanover or on the Hanover section, based on the construction schedule. But if not, we'll find something else. And then we're privileged to be able to give a presentation about the fall line and the fall line vision plan at this year's Virginia Greenways Conference. It's presented by the Virginia United Land Trusts. It'll be in Fredericksburg at the University of Mary Washington, and we really think that this is our opportunity to show the fall line to the state of Virginia in a way we haven't before, and all the hard work that VDOT, our locality partners, and our stakeholder partners have made possible for this great trail. I think I might be at the end of my presentation. I don't know if Scott might have been able to join, but our next meeting will be July 3rd, first Wednesday of each quarter, and we look forward to you joining. Any questions or discussion? I will make sure that we get, when I send out some notes, we can share the video from Plan RVA or the CVTA Fall Line Working Group. Scott did present several maps today with the updated alignments, talked through the river crossing and at the Chickahominy and beyond. Sorry, we don't have that presentation here for you today. Well, we look forward to seeing you this month, April 23rd, groundbreaking. Put on a tie and get your picture taken.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, Brantley.